incredibly moved by the documentary 13th, directed by Ava DuVernay. It begins with summarizing the 13th Amendment to the United States Constitution and shows all of the stages that it went through, starting in the 1960s. The 13th Amendment states, "Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States, or any place subject to their jurisdiction." Shortly after, we learn about time in the United States when the Jim Crow laws were implemented. They were state and local laws that enforced racial segregation in the southern United States. All were enacted in the late 19th and early 20th centuries by white, Democratic-dominated state legislators after the Reconstruction period. This was extremely moving because it was really evident to see, through this medium of a documentary, all of the hatred and cruelty that filled the United States and how even in the early 2000s and in today's world, that hatred is still present. This is apparent when the murder of Trayvon Martin in 2012 was brought up. The teenager walking in a neighborhood in Florida who was wearing all black and looked suspicious to a cop. However, the deputies told the cop to stop following him, but he did it anyway, and the cop ended up shooting him out of self-defense when the boy started yelling for help because he could tell that the cop was on to him. The cop got away with everything. Didn't have to do jail time or pay anything at all because it was all out of self-defense. But he really should be getting into trouble because the deputies told him to go. I think that it is interesting that they focused on all of the different presidents after they are elected and show how each one of them tries to protect the citizens by sending more and more people to jail for nothing but being a part of the human population. And even if they were sent to jail, they were sent away for years, several too long for minuscule crimes they may have done. One president's actions that stood out to me was the Ronald Reagan campaign. How he was so focused on sending people to jail during the drug epidemic, during the war on drugs, that he ended up incarcerating more people than ever. There was a lot covered about racial and religious inequality brought up as well, with African American and Latinos being named criminals for doing barely anything wrong, to the rise of the Ku Klux Klan, which was introduced towards the beginning of the film. Overall, 13th covers a plethora of touchy material that can be offensive, frightening, and all in all not pleasant to watch for most. However, it's important to learn and understand the history of our country and how the United States of America came to be what it is today, through all the good and all the bad. Thank you.